Hello and welcome back to SciTi Tech. In this video, I'm going to show you how to make a very interesting rollable LED device that uses an LED light strip and a retractable tape measure. Let's get started. And these are the items you're going to need to make for this project. The items you're going to need: a 12-volt LED light strip, a female input DC jack, and a retractable tape measure. My idea of what I want to do in this project is I want to go and take these LEDs, remove it from this wheel, and place it inside of the retractable tape measure. And as you can see with the tape measure, you can just simply pull it out and take some measurements. And my idea is to put LEDs inside so you can pull it out and light them up. And then to retract them, I just simply take this wheel and turn the wheel and retract them back inside. So basically, put LEDs inside and pull it out. And with this DC female input jack, I want to be able to power the LED strips. I think what I want to do is place it on the outside on the wheel, or place it on the end with the LEDs. So what I need to do is figure out how to do this. Let's get started. First, I'm going to go and modify this tape measure. So what I need to do is remove the screws to open up the housing. And there we go, the housing is now opened, and you can see the metal tape measure inside. As you can see, it's coiled in very nicely. So what I want to do is just simply remove it carefully. Simply remove the plastic crank wheel, and as you can see, the metal tape measure has a T shape, which means it goes inside the groove and turns, and it stays in place. And it removes just like this. And by the way, this tape measure makes a very interesting weird sound. Have a listen. So what I'm doing right now is trying to figure out how I'm going to go and design this. I'm not really sure if I want to either do two things. Do I want to take the input DC jack and place it right here? The reason why is because this female DC input jack, when you plug it in, it can rotate, just like this. Which means the mechanism of using this, rotating it, will work just fine. By placing this right here and then plugging it in, and it rotates. But then the issue then would be at the end here where the LEDs go, there's nothing to anchor it in place to keep it from going back inside. Which leads me to this other idea. Instead of doing that, which then if I did do this, have this plugged in, I won't be able to close this very easily, and it won't come back how it was originally, and it'll be always sticking out. I don't really want to do that. I might do that, but I don't think I want to do that. Plus, the amount of room inside might be enough room. Not really sure, but this will help anchor the piece, the LED strand in place so it doesn't slip out from inside. Which means my second idea is on the end of the LED strip, plugging this in like this, will plug in like an anchor, which will then plug in like that on the end, which will then prevent it from going inside. This method I think I might like better, because then I can simply take the input jack, plug it in, and I can just simply pull it out like this and you have LEDs. Pull it out and then you have LEDs. Now, that would also bring an interesting idea, because this could be the base where it plugs in and it stays, and it's plugged in next to a power source. You don't need to see this part, so it'll be just sitting there unseen, and you have the LEDs pulled out, and then you can see the LEDs. That would work. It'll also work too under certain conditions as well for that, or the other condition would be this being the anchor on the end, plugging the input, pulling it this way, and then you have this placed somewhere else and you have the LEDs. Both works. This idea is kind of similar to this idea over here. As you can see, I have my LED strand that I use to light up in the room to give me more light on this side of the room. And it's kind of the same thing where the input is plugged in the end. So if I plugged it in here, the base of where the thing winds would be at the end right here, and it would extend with the source plugged in. So in a way that would still work too. So, I don't know. I could make maybe 2 of these and have 2 versions if I wanted, but I think I might like the idea of taking the input jack and plugging it in here like this, so that way I can just simply pull it out. Yeah, I think I might like this method better, so I'm going to go ahead and get that started. Okay, now inspecting it. The LED strand is going to connect here with this anchor, connecting it right here, which will be the input jack, which will give the power of this circuit. Now looking at it, it looks like it'll fit just perfectly. The LEDs and resistors don't get caught on the plastic right here. So this way I don't have to modify this. Of course I don't want to turn it this way, because if I do that, then yes, we can get caught on that. So I think I'll have it this way, so that way I can go in like that. There's nothing to catch it, except perhaps this way, but I don't think that'll happen because of the way it's curved naturally. So yeah, I think I'll have it orientated like this. It'll work just fine. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and assemble it together. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and assemble it together. And one more thing to mention is that yes, as you can see, these are a very small amount of LEDs. Of course it would be nicer if it was bigger and I had more LEDs to put inside, but I don't have that many. But the idea, actually, I just realized, is that instead of plugging it in here and having it plugged in right here, so that way this is the anchor and it connects to here, this gives me the idea to actually customize this a little bit easier. I could actually, in the future, if I have more of these LEDs, I can then be able to add it on both ends, either add it to this end by desoldering this and reconnecting it here, or detaching it from the inside and then reconnecting it. Although I think it would be easier, since if this piece is not plugged in here and it's only here, instead I think it'll be easier to add more LEDs to this by simply pulling it out completely, taking it apart, and then just simply remove the LED strand that's here and attach another longer strand, and then the longer strand will go and attach back into here like how it was before, with more LEDs. So yeah, I think it would be better to definitely put the anchor on this end. It'll make it easier in the future to be able to add more LEDs to it. So yeah, I think that's what I'll do. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and get started with assembling this. Place the housing of the tape measure to the side and just simply unspool the LEDs from the wheel. And there we go, removed. And now what I want to do is cut off the excess. And this other bit that's on the end, I can save it for another project. And there, the LEDs are now ready. Okay, so now looking at this, I can see that this little part here is very flimsy and can come off easily. And if it comes off inside here, it'll cause it to tangle. So what I'm going to do is remove this part, but then you have the sticky adhesive. So then tinkering with this a little more, I can remove the sticky adhesive too. So I can remove this paper and the sticky adhesive. Doing this will prevent anything from sticking, and it will allow it to work better on this, so that way it can wind on itself and not stick together. So now I'm just going to go ahead and carefully remove. And now since the LEDs are no longer sticky, now I can easily install it into the crank wheel. Now you may be wondering, what did I do with the tape measure? I simply took it and reinstalled it into the wheel that the LEDs were inside. Doing this will allow me to use it for a future project, or to use it as an actual tape measurer, and this will help keep it organized. Next, I'm going to go ahead and take the plastic crank wheel, examine it, and figure out what I want to do. The idea is to take the LED and place it in the exact same way as the tape measurer was placed in. Place it into the hole, just like this. Be very careful not to damage the LEDs. At the same time, sacrificing 2 LEDs. Place it in, just like this. Take some super glue and glue down the LED strip. Hold it down. Spray a little bit of activator to cure the glue. Add some more super glue in the inside. And there, it is now glued into place, and I'll simply wind up the LEDs on the crank wheel. Wind it up just like this. Leave a little bit of excess so that way some of it can stick out of the housing, so that way I can be able to anchor it properly without the LED going back inside and getting stuck. Place everything back together, rebuild the housing and put everything into place. Take the top housing, sandwich it together carefully, make sure everything's aligned properly. And now take some screws and screw it back into place. And there, should look just like this. And as you can see, the LEDs easily come out. And I can easily take the crank wheel and crank it back in. Just like this. Very good, that means it works well. And the LEDs don't stick into the hole, which is even better. So that means the LEDs come in and out smoothly, which is perfect. Now what I need to do is figure out where the DC input jack is going to go. Next, solder tin the end of the LED strip, and I've decided I want to take the female input DC jack and place it on the end of the LED strip. Next, what I need to do is desolder these wires. These wires are placed here because this is a reference to know which is positive and negative. So now, simply take the positive and negative and connect positive to positive and negative to negative. So simply solder the negative to negative, just like this. And solder bridge it over to the positive. And there, the circuit is now complete. Positive is connected to positive, and negative is connected to negative. And there, it should look just like this. And just simply pull the LEDs out, and I will have light. Like this. And now when I want to put it away, just simply wind it up and retract the LEDs so it goes back inside of the housing. Just like this. And now let's go ahead and test it out. Take the 12-volt power supply, plug it in, and as you can see, it works. It lights up very well. Now let's see how this looks in the dark. As you can see, this looks very nice in the dark. And now let's test it out in another situation. Let's go ahead and light up the workbench. Place one end of the LED, just like this. And just simply pull the LEDs out, just like this. And then just simply pull out the LEDs, and as you can see, it lights up. Lighting up the entire workbench and my entire work area. And there, my entire workbench is lit up. Unfortunately, my camera won't focus. That's okay, you get the idea. Just simply take the LEDs, pull it out, and then when I'm done with the LEDs, simply retract it. And there you have it. Now you know how to make your very own rollable LED device with using a few simple parts, such as an LED strip and a retractable tape measurer. Thank you for watching SciTech Tech. I hope you learned something new, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and of course click on the bell icon to be notified of future SciTech Tech videos. Till the next tech, goodbye.